Lord, I said the other day in my quick cast assessment that social media was gonna get to town on this new cast of Love Island USA Season 8. And it's even more of a dumpster fire than I expected. I can't believe that the season hasn't even started yet and social media is in shambles, whether it's people attacking cast members' friends already because of what their friends might have said or who their friends might have liked last season on the show. Not even judging the actual cast, judging their friends. It's a total shit show. One of the main things that has pissed me off is people calling this cast chopped. Like, can we please just be real for a minute and just call out that these last few seasons had too much plastic surgery? I am enjoying looking at some real people who also happen to look good. If you think this cast is chopped and not the last few years of casts didn't have their issues with some of their tweaked faces, well then I think you might have been warped by social media or something. Because older women, they get a lot of plastic surgery. There's some people in their 50s that look great because of plastic surgery, but people in their 20s that have a lot of work done, it's not a good look. I don't care what people say. But this cast, I think they look fine. I'm glad we have a realer cast. The person that was probably getting it the most was Anaya, because in her photo she definitely does look older. I don't know if it's the lighting, I don't know if it's just the photographer in general, I don't know if it's the hair, but people were calling out that she's a catfish because look at how good she looks in her IG pictures as a Facetune. But if people didn't just look at the picture, if they would have just saw the video that they posted with the intro, I think she looks like one of the best people cast this season. I said in my quick cast assessment that she looked fit as fuck, and I do think that is the case.
Mind you, don't get it twisted. She's still beautiful up here, but this picture definitely ages her. Down here is real Anaya's in the video. Y'all can't call her a catfish because it's her moving and talking. There's no Photoshop, no filter, no nothing. Y'all was trying to play her yesterday, and I was not rolling with that.
I don't know why people were coming for her so hard, but what definitely pissed me off is that the actual Love Island USA account, some dumb bitch that works for social media for Love Island USA, did some sort of shade throwing with emojis when someone commented on the picture that she's cute. We got this upward smiley face with the downward smiley face. The downward smiley face, more often than not used for shade, has been for years on social media. So that did piss me off because it just came before they released the cast, when the accounts for Love Island USA said the villa runs on good vibes and so does the community. We love seeing your reactions, opinions, and debates, but everyone deserves to feel safe and respected. This is a space for fun, not negativity, so keep it kind, keep it positive, and remember, this is Love Island. But they also got to practice what they preach. What pisses me off about the production for the show is they try to blame the fans a lot for being crazy, which they are. They're definitely crazy. I get the sentiment of these kinds of posts, but production is very shady themselves, especially when it comes to edits, which I get is reality television, but sometimes they're so heavy-handed with an agenda. This kind of shade on their social media account has to be stopped. They did delete it and respond with better emojis. Maybe it was an accident, but it's not a good look for the show. Another person getting some shade is Beatrice, who has the prosthetic leg, even though she isn't an Paralympian. So I don't know why people are throwing shade at her. I think a lot of the sentiment was that we don't want pity votes again this season. We can't pity her because she doesn't have a leg, and are men going to reject her for the leg? Like, for fuck's sake, can we let these cast members get on the show first and not have all of this kind of speculation? Because I do get the sentiment. I don't want pity votes for the winner again. But can we see it play out? We don't know if she's not going to be able to have a connection. We don't know if it's going to be because of her leg. I feel like that's a lot of speculation. If it comes down to her at the end winning because people are pitying her, yeah, that will be annoying. I will say so. But we are far, far away from that. I do think a lot of people have deleted those kinds of posts on social media in the shit show that has been social media since this all started. Let's get to the Vasana of it all, or however you pronounce her name, who is our first one getting canceled this season because someone posted very short videos back a long time ago. I guess a friend of hers or someone that knew her in middle school or high school when she was singing a song and said the N word. So people are trying to cancel her for that. And I have a lot of things to say on this, even though I don't even want to talk about it. But let's start with this. I don't like when people try and cancel people on social media for things that they said or typed in high school. Or in this case, I think one of the videos is fucking middle school. But I've said this a lot on the channel, and I'm not going to change my mind on that now because our brains don't develop really until our 20s and some even into our 30s. And for this fandom, I don't know if most of the brains are developed, period. But it's hard for me to be so upset because I find this all to be fake outrage. I find a lot of this to be fake outrage because all people have done since the cast came out is try to find reasons to cancel the cast. Some people were making AI pictures of one of the other cast members to make her look worse than she actually is. It's fucking wild. I don't feel sorry for this cast because they know what they're signing up for. They're trying to be famous on the most popular reality show. So I don't necessarily feel sorry for them, but it does annoy me with how ridiculous people act. But these are the three things that I will say on the Vasana situation. I don't care if she gets cut. I don't have a horse in the race. If they're going to cut her, I would like for them to do it before the damn show starts if they have the time to do so, rather than wait a couple episodes like last season, pull someone out of the game, because that could kind of screw over someone too, because whoever she's coupled up with gets screwed over. I do wonder if they cast 12 people this season rather than 10 to be the initial cast because of a situation like this, possibly because they know how fucking crazy everybody is. I do think that is a possibility too. I will also say I don't understand, because she's like half Asian or something, or partly Asian. Why do people who are Asian or of Latina descent think that they have a hall pass to say the N-word? I think that is stupid as well. But the second thing I would like to say is this is completely different than the Yulissa situation last season when she was a grown-ass adult, over 25, so most of her brain should have developed by then. And she went on podcasts saying the N-word. So her getting yeeted from the show after the first couple episodes, I think was a lot more warranted than singing a song when you were in high school. The third thing I will say, though, is that the show did set a precedent, kinda, with the Sierra situation, because they took weeks and weeks and weeks of the show to pull Sierra out of the game because of what she said in an older video. Not nearly as young as Vasana here, but nonetheless. So did they really set a precedent with Sierra? Kinda. They kinda did. Although I have seen people saying, well, if they don't pull Vasana, then Sierra and Yulissa can sue the show. No. It's not how it works. Like, this is basically a job. They're on a contract. They could fire you for whatever reason that they deem necessary. But yeah, one of the other cast members getting a lot of slack is Kenzie, because people think she might be Mega, but that's the person they were making fake photos about, putting her in a Mega hat that it wasn't true. So there's outrage over that too, which I don't know. Her brother said that's not the case. I don't really care about this personally. I want to see these people on the show before we judge them.
I'm seeing a lot of people talking about, oh my God, they're already finding out that some of the Love Island people are supportive of this political candidate and this political candidate. And why can't we all just get along? And why can't we all just, it doesn't matter who you support. We shouldn't be ripped to shreds and blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants to see you if they find out that bottom line, you're okay with voting with or publicly supporting a political candidate that advocates for cruelty. Nobody wants to see you on their screens.
But takes like this annoy me because you're going to watch anyway. Complaining, well, we don't want these kind of people on our television show. Well, guess what? You're still going to watch. And that's why I call it fake outrage for situations like some of these. But we'll see what the producers decide to do before the show even begins. We're still waiting till Tuesday. There was some of the people's astrology signs posted, which I like to talk about. Only some of these are actually like for sure. Some of them are speculation, I think, because their actual blog on Peacock posted some of their zodiac signs, but not all of them. So some of these, I don't know if these are completely true, but let's talk about them anyway. Beatrice is a Libra. I think, she might be good at this game, better than we might be anticipating despite her leg, because Libras are usually a good, fun time. I think she will actually do better on a show like this than people are giving her credit for. And I think she will actually be more likable than some people may even think. I actually think I might end up liking Beatrice, but we'll see. It remains to be seen. Next up is Sincere, who is an Aries, which I think just honestly kind of plays into what I was already thinking about Sincere in my first little cast assessment. He's going to be the biggest fuckboy. I don't care what anyone is saying. He might prove me wrong. I'm going to give time before I actually make my final decisions on a lot of this cast when the show airs. I will say I will be very patient this season. I am not going to buy anyone's love or anyone's character within the first 2 weeks of this show this year. I am not going to be solid on anything until I get to assess these people for at least 2 weeks, because I don't think a lot of this cast is going to be sincere. I think there's going to be a lot of scamming, and I think Sincere might be one of the biggest scammers. Next up is Anaya, who is a Virgo. I never know what you're going to get with the Virgo. She could be someone who's really there looking for love. She could be someone who is very analytical and ready to play the game. I think Virgos can do great at both of those things. But because of some of the hate she's already been getting for her look, I feel like she's someone that I'm already feeling like I'm going to have to clock in to defend a lot this season. So as long as she's not boring or like really toxic or something, I'm probably going to be defending Anaya. Next up is Sean, who is an Aquarius. This is our police officer. This is also our daddy on the cast. We do have a Papacita this season. I don't know how that's going to play out, in comparison to Huda last season. Will he say that he has a very young child? Because I believe the child is very young. So that is something to look out for. With him, Aquariuses are unique, especially the male Aquariuses that I have known are extremely unique. They definitely walk to the beat of their own drum. So Sean could be more surprising. I'm not just going to label him just a cop yet. Next is Kenzie. I've already said what I needed to say about Kenzie. She is a Sagittarius though, and I typically love Sagittariuses, both in real life and on shows like this, because they are usually entertaining. And this show has a lot of Sagittarius women, especially if Asana stays, which we'll get to her. But Kenzie is who people are trying to cancel for possible social media pictures of her that makes her seem like she might be mega. But to me, I already gave my assessment. I didn't like her after 10 seconds of listening to her talk in her little short intro video. I don't want to hear about how she wants to have 5 to 10 kids when she's not even in a relationship and she's only 24 years old. It's like, calm down. So she's a lot, but I typically do like Sagittariuses, so we'll see if she wins me over. Next is Bryce, who is a Cancer. There's no Pisces yet this season for me to have to defend, and that's probably a good thing. But I think Cancer men are somewhat similar to Pisces in that they are actually looking for emotions and actually looking for love. However, his friends on social media are making it seem like he's really, really into black women, and yet he's not following much on Instagram. So it makes me think that they want him to go in and try and scam to be the next Nicolandria. I think we need to really watch Bryce, because Nicolandria actually had chemistry, and there actually was this way that Nick used to look at Olandria and still does to this day in her birthday pictures this week. So we'll see how I feel about Bryce in a couple of weeks. Next up is Trinity, another Libra, kind of like I already said, gonna be good at the game of Love Island. Next up is Casey, yet another Aries. Does that mean I think he's going to be as big of a fuckboy like Sincere? Not necessarily. I don't want to just, totally crap all over Aries guys. So I do think there's another side of Aries guys that can be very competitive in general. I don't know if that necessarily translates to love, but I guess we will see this season with Casey. Next up is Melanie, one of our other Sagittarius women. When the cast first came out, I didn't know if I was going to like Melanie. But knowing that she's a Sagittarius, I have high hopes that she's going to be great television. So I'm very much open-minded to watching Melanie. Zach is Charlie's brother. We don't know his zodiac sign, so gonna skip over him. Vasana is our other Sagittarius woman, if she is still on the show. When the show starts, that means 3 Sagittarius women, and that sounds like some very dramatic television to me, because 1 Sagittarius is entertaining. 2 Sagittariuses can be, excessive drama. 3 Sagittariuses might be a war, so I kind of want her to stay just for that, but we'll see if she does. And then Gabriel is our Virgo man. He's another one that I don't think I'm going to like. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to see if he's going to be actually either good TV or fun. But since he's a Virgo, I don't think he's going to be fun. But I feel like he's going to be more annoying than I want him to be. There's something about him just on first impressions, just from seeing a little bit of his social media, that I don't think I'm going to like him. But like I've said, for some of these people, they can still prove me wrong. That is it for my roundup for this weekend of Love Island USA. I will be looking forward to the first episode Tuesday, although I probably won't talk about it until sometime on Wednesday.